Hey everybody, back again for one of these videos. This time I'm going to talk about finding zeros of functions and intersections of lines. Okay, so let's say that we had a quadratic equation, and we're going to say that we got x squared plus 6x minus 8, and it equals, hold on, power went out. Yeah, there we go. Hadn't moved in a while. X squared plus 6x minus 8 equals 14. Well, I can solve this. I can try and factor, try and do stuff like that, or I can just use my graphing calculator. So one of the things that I'm going to do right now is go ahead and type that in. So in my y equals on my calculator, I might have some old stuff in there, and you can see there's a plot on. I'm going to turn that plot off because we're not plotting anything right now. So I hit my up arrow, I hit enter once, and it became unbolded. For these two equations that are left over here, I'm going to get rid of that, clear and enter, and clear and enter. Anytime that I have an equation like this, I'm going to take the left hand side of the equation and put it in y1, and the right hand side of the equation and put it in y2. So x squared plus 6x minus 8, enter, there's my equation in y1, and 14, there's my equation in y2. So one of the things that I'm going to do right now is I want to graph it, but I want a window that's going to kind of fit it. So when I go to my window, I'm going to assume that my x's aren't going to be super huge, so I might go from negative 10 to 10 to start off. You can see that on this, I want it to equal 14. So a y max of 20, totally good, that's going to be high enough. Y min of negative 5 is fine. If I want it, it'll just show kind of the bottoms of the parabola. So I'm going to go ahead and hit graph. And you can see that my parabola definitely does touch in these two places, once right here and once right here. Now what we want to do to be able to find those is hit second, and then the trace button, and then number 5. For intersection, and then we're going to do enter, enter, enter. So it looks like this: second, trace, number 5 is an intersection, and then I hit enter. You can see my cursor's right here. It will find the intersection point to the closest one to that. So if I hit enter and enter again, you will see that it tells you that that solution is 2.567. 2.567. Okay, that's one of them. Now I need to find the other one. So I'm going to do second, trace, number 5 again, intersection, but I have to move my cursor, you can see how I moved it way over here, closer to the other one. Okay, and then I can hit enter, 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 and you can see the other solution is negative 8.567. So those are my two solutions to this quadratic equation up here. Now I also could have done it by finding it, solving it by finding the zeros of this function. So I'm going to rewrite it: x squared plus 6x minus 8 equals 14. I'm going to subtract the 14, and I get x squared plus 6x minus 22 equals 0. And now I'm going to graph that. So I'm going to go to my y equals, change this minus 8 to a minus 22, and change this, just clear it out completely. Okay, so now when I go ahead and graph, you can see that my parabola touches in these two places. Those are the zeros. So zeros are found under second trace and number 2, 0. And I want to do a left bound, right bound. So the first time I'm going to try and find this one right here. So you can see that the number 1 is to the left of it and the number 5 is to the right of it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to type those in: 1, enter, 5, enter, and you can see that those two sections right there are to the left and right of it. And now it says, I want to guess. Well, if you were paying attention, oops, sorry if that was too high before, 2.567 was one of my answers, and that looks like 2.567. So I'm going to hit enter, and you can see I do get 2.567. Okay, now I'm going to do the other one, which is over here. So a number to the left of it would be negative 10, a number to the right of it would be like negative 5, and I can pick anything that's to the left or the right of it. So I use second, trace, 0, type in negative 10 for a left bound, negative, not subtraction, negative 5 for a right bound, and then hit enter. And you can see that it's negative 8.567, which is the same thing that I got before. Okay, so now that I've done intersections and zeros, I'm going to talk about a min and a max. Min and a max are another thing that we're going to do with our calculators. So one of the things that I want to do right now is on my window, I want to see the bottom of this parabola. So I hit window, and I'm going to, Y min, I'm going to move it down to like negative 30. And I hit graph, and I almost can see it, so it looks like I gotta do a little bit more. And if I didn't state this before, or you haven't heard it in class, this X res down here will make your graph go faster. So if you don't have it on like 3 or 4 or something like that, maybe put it there and things will happen a little bit more quickly for you. So I'm going to go negative 40 for a Y min. I'm going to hit graph again. Now you can obviously see that there's a bottom point to this parabola. So I'm going to simply go second trace. Now I want to find a minimum, the lowest point on the parabola. That's number 3. Same thing occurs with the left bound and right bound. So if you look right here, this number, any number over here, is to the left of the bottom point. So I'm going to type in negative 8 and hit enter. And then I'm going to pick something over here. It doesn't really matter as long as it's to the right of this bottom point. So I'm going to go ahead and pick 2 and hit enter. And then I'm going to say, do I want to guess? I really don't want to guess. And you can see that that number is negative 2.99997. And that'll get me negative 31. Okay, so on my chart right here, the minimum is negative 2.999997. Wow, that's pretty, there's a lot of 9s to not have them all be 9s. Now, if I wanted to try and do a maximum, I couldn't, of course, because you can tell the parabola goes up forever. So let me do a quick one with maximum, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to go to y equals. I'm going to put in negative x squared plus 4x minus 5. Okay, and actually, let me type that all in again. I cleared that out. Negative x squared plus 4x minus 5. Enter. And graph. Hey, look at that. So the maximum is really close to 0 right now. So just so that I can do something that tweaks it a little bit, I'm going to hit my window, or my y equals. I'm going to change that minus 5 to a minus 8, which will take the entire parabola and just slip it down 3 more. You can see that now it's down a little bit lower, and I'm going to find that maximum. So I hit second trace, and number 4 is maximum. This time, instead of just typing in the number, I'm going to move my cursor. So right now, do you guys all agree my cursor is to the left of the highest point? I simply hit enter, and I physically take my right arrow and move the cursor to the right side of that top point, and I hit enter. And it says, do I want to guess? Nope, I really don't want to guess. And you can see that the maximum is negative 1.99999 x value, and it happens to be negative 4. So when I go back to this, about 2 is going to give me a maximum of negative 4. And then back over here, that minimum, that was the x value that got you the minimum, but the number that we saw on the calculator was definitely negative 31. Okay, so the lowest point on the first parabola, negative 31. The highest point on the second parabola was negative 4. And these two things happen to be the x values that got us there. Hope this was beneficial to you, and hope you know how to use your intersections, minimum, maximums, and zeros now in your calculator. Thanks.